Hey everybody, welcome to this week's live stream. I hope you're all doing great today. So we are going to turn up one of the Gator Jaw, faux Gator Jaw pens from last week. It should be pretty cool. Now, we demolded the blanks. Unfortunately with these Gator Jaw blanks, you can't really see what's going on, even though I did cut them on all four sides and everything. It's kind of hard sometimes, especially depending on how that little jaw is kind of sitting in the slot. You don't necessarily see a whole lot of what's going on inside. So it can be a little bit, you're like, I don't know, is this gonna be fun? But in my experience, and I haven't turned that many of these, but in my experience, once you start kind of taking off some layers, then it really exposes itself and it turns into something magical. So it should be pretty cool today, I think. I'm pretty excited about it. So let's go to the overhead if you didn't see the demolded blanks. So here's what we made on the stream. We did one with we used the Conch Aqua, kind of like a aqua color, and we just put random pieces in. They're all different colors and everything, but you can see like you can see some of the little jaw pieces right there, and a little bit there, but you're like, I don't know how this is going to turn out. It's kind of how they look in blank form. But we did one with the Nocon, I think it was Nocon blue. So that should be pretty cool. Kind of depends on the colors, because it's not just like white Gator Jaw like bone. We're going with resin ones, and I kind of like, I like the idea of real Gator Jaw. I mean, that's a little bit more novelty, but they're a little bit, that bone material is a little bit harder to turn. You're going to have to finish it. So there are some drawbacks to doing the real ones, and obviously you don't get the kind of colors that you can have if you do a faux. Now, the way that I did this, and before anybody asks, I'm not going to be making any of these Gator Jaw molds, but many years ago I bought some Gator Jaw, and I was like, I think it'd be cool to make a mold. And the molds were a little bit difficult to make, that's why I don't really want to sell them or anything like that. But I have a couple, and it is pretty fun to make them. So we actually poured a couple of those as well. And if the thing is, if you want to make these, they're not that hard to make. From like selling them perspective, I don't want to make them. Like it's just more work than I want to deal with. But they're not that hard to make, really. If silicone's not that much more different or difficult than just like resin casting. It's not that hard to work with, really. And this is one of those things where, again, if the mold doesn't turn out like absolutely perfect, it's not like the end of the world. In the turning world, we're pretty lucky. Most of the things that we need to make molds for, pen blanks, you really want them to be as good as possible, obviously. No defects and stuff on the outsides, but I mean, still, we're gonna turn it, right? So even if it's not dead perfect, it's not a big deal, because you're gonna, cut it and do all this stuff to it. So with these, same thing with the faux burls. Like if it's not like a perfect mold, this is basically what I'm saying is, if you want to get into mold making, this is a good one to start with. I would say like a faux burl or something like that is even better, because you really can't screw it up, kind of thing, So we poured a couple of those, and I've actually already recast those things. I'm going to go back to the overhead view again. Because I already made extra pen blanks for the pen blank club, and I decided to do a couple other different ones. I went with a purple for these, and I was able to kind of, I don't know, I kind of just went with some really interesting colors, and then we went with some bold, like colored jaws. Kind of a plethora of different ones. With these, I actually kind of had the advantage to be able to kind of just break them up. I went with some turquoise. These were actually the ones that we made on the stream in the middle, and then a couple of the orange ones. And I figured those definitely went well with purple. And then for the other ones, they were kind of blue, and I think this is like the mermaid color kind of thing. So I kind of broke them up and match them a little bit maybe better to specific colors, but I mean, honestly, I think they're all going to look good, but I was able to kind of separate them out because that's what we had left over. So Pen Blank Club folks, these will be coming with the kitless glitter, the micros or whatever, the Starlight glitter ones. Now, one interesting thing that we tried with this one, and I don't know if it's going to pick up on the camera or not. Probably not. It's pretty subtle, but there is micro starlight in this, and it does I don't know if it's going to come up on the camera. It does shimmer a bit. I don't know if you guys can see that or not. I can barely see it right now, but I think once we polish it, it's going to kind of pop out at us. So it should be pretty fun. I'm pretty excited. So for news and announcements, I'm going to go and check one thing real quick. I didn't check this today. Let's see here. It looks like... I'm not sure, but I think there might still be one slot open on for the Turner's Warehouse open house weekend. This will be on a Monday. I think the Monday at 1 p.m. class with me, the one-on-one, I think it might still be available. I'm not 100% sure. I can't tell it because it kind of says notify me when available, but it also says add to cart. So Turner's Warehouse is doing all that stuff, so I'm not 100% sure if that one's booked or not. You might try it if you can, if you want to get in with the class. So just to let you know, that is possibly open. But so next weekend is the open house. It's going to be pretty fun. I'm looking forward to it. So Friday, I'm going to be doing a demo casting some, and we're going to be working with Starlight glitter and making some pen blanks again. Do something different than we did on the stream though, obviously. So we're gonna make some, you know, just simple pen blanks on Friday, and then on Saturday I'm gonna do a demo turning one of those blanks, which frankly I might actually kind of pre-plan and have that ready. There's nothing totally wrong with turning a blank the next day, but it's not the greatest idea. It's better if you wait, I would say, like especially like Alumilite Clear Slow, most of your epoxies, well, definitely with the Alumilite Clear Slow, if you wait like 2 days, you should be pretty good. 5 days is like a full cure. The problem is they can shrink slightly, just a tiny bit. So if you are tubing it, it may kind of crimp down on that a little bit, but the biggest problem is they're softer. You know, as it's curing, it starts, you know, getting harder and harder. And so while they may be real easy to turn if they're softer, the problem is the sanding and all that stuff. It's just better to sand and polish a finished, or I mean a cured, fully cured blank. It's harder, it's going to get a better shine, all that kind of stuff. So I may pre-make like a blank or something like that before the trip, but it should be pretty fun, I think. Either way, it doesn't really make any difference. But part of the thing is I'm going to kind of show my finishing technique, my polishing and stuff for that. Partly because, you know, there's a lot of people that have taken classes with Chad, and he kind of does his own thing with, you know, his own way with the finishing of that. And so I'm kind of bringing something a little bit different. So, you know, there's 1,000 ways to skin a cat. So, let's see. There's also going to be demos all day Saturday, and they're going to be live streaming these demos. So make sure to subscribe to Turner's Warehouse channel. Chad, if you are able to, maybe drop a link to your YouTube channel, just so everybody knows. Make sure to subscribe, and then that'll let you know, and hit that little bell notification as well, so that you get notified when they go live, have videos and all that kind of stuff. That way you don't miss anything. They probably will replay them, I'm guessing. I don't know, but if you want to join live, that way it's, you know, it's just virtual. You're pretty much just in the crowd. You know, you have to deal with like the camera views only, but you know, if you can't make it out to Phoenix next weekend, it's a great way to see all the demos. And there's going to be some really good demos, guys. Let's see, who's all demoing? I know that Jim from Cocoon is going to be doing, I think he's doing like the basic resin casting class. Who else? I don't know. There's some really good ones. Where's the lineup thing? Oh, there it is. Lineup and demo schedule. Let's see. Dan's going to be doing some carving. Iron Rhino Forge is going to be out there. Record Power is going to do some turning stuff. Let's see the lineup. Oh yeah, Kate from Bullseye. She's going to be doing specialty blank turning. Hollowing with Emily. So there's some pretty cool stuff going on. I mean, you know, good demos. There always are. And then, like I said, I've got some one-on-one classes. Oh, there's one left on Monday. And so that's going to be like a little bit after the event, basically. But on Monday in the afternoon, I have a one-on-one, and I'm not sure how many spots or whatever's left. But There's also going to be the art of spindle turning classes, and that's like a 3-day class, I think. So like in depth, if you want to learn spindle turning. Yeah, with Emily Ford. So pretty cool stuff. It's going to be fun. I'm really looking forward to this trip. It's going to be good to get back out. I haven't been out to like hang out with everybody and all that kind of stuff live for a long time. So it was actually, I think the last time was last open house at Turner's Warehouse. So pretty cool. All right, so let's get rolling here. So let's show you the blank that I'm actually going to be doing here. So here's the one that I chose. I decided to go with the blue and white one for the jaw, and then with the turquoise. I'm really curious to see if we can get that micro starlight to pop in this. And then for the pen kit, and I've got this linked in the description already, if you want to grab this. I finally got a good chance. I've been waiting to use this really cool, I think it's called Galaxy, Blue Galaxy, from Turner's Warehouse. So it's a cigar kit, and it's got that really cool blue. It's very nice. So we're going to do that. I thought it would match up pretty well with the little gator jaw guys. So I'm excited. I'm saving that one for a special one. And so for anybody that doesn't know, so this is a real gator jaw bone in here, but it's not going to be any different. It's going to look the same. So that's kind of what you can expect. We're going to have, instead of all these swirls and crazy colors, we're going to have like a single color. So it should be kind of an interesting little different kind of take on this, but they look awesome. It's going to be a pretty cool looking pen, I think. So let's head over to the lathe. Let's see here. Yeah, I'm looking forward to your class too, Myra. Is there any questions or anything? I was just double checking real quick. So Myra's asking, how long does it take to fully cure? So we'll go to the serious cam here. So it depends on the resin. If you're talking about Alumilite Clear Slow, and this is kind of also, it depends on the temperature in the shop a little bit. If it's really cold, it's going to take longer, or if it's very small amounts. So when you're talking about resin curing, you kind of generally, your instructions for whatever resin you're using should tell you what the full cure time is, and also give you like stipulations on like how much resin are we talking about. Did you cast, as well as what is the temperature that it's curing in. All right, so I think they generally, for like Alumilite Clear Slow, I think they generally say, pretty much every resin is going to tell you like room temperature, somewhere around 70, 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That's kind of the standard typically. And then the amount is usually something like 200 or 300 grams or so, something like that. So, a reasonable amount, not a very small amount, not a gigantic amount, just a medium size amount at room temperature, and that's going to take 5 days. Now, the way that urethane resins cure, they get hard. They go through their curing process as more of a curve, like kind of hyper, or what do you call that? Exponential curve. So they cure pretty fast. They get to like, I don't know what percent or whatever, but let's just say like they probably get to about like 70% within a day or two. And then it kind of tapers off a little bit. But the whole full cure schedule for urethane resins, which is what Alumilite Clear Slow is, that's the base, the ingredients, the chemical makeup of it. So like not an epoxy, that would be a different one. Urethanes, or Alumilite Clear Slow takes 5 days at those numbers. Now, if it's warmer, it's going to be faster, and we were talking about, you can do a post cure, right? So you can toss your mold and resin, once you take it out of the pressure pot, you can put it in an oven. These numbers, I don't really have a lot of experience with this, but generally I think that a lot of the resins typically are like somewhere around like 180 degrees Fahrenheit for like 8 hours or something like that. You can put it in the oven and it'll be fully cured when you take it out, once it cools down. All right, but there's some stuff that goes along with that that you need to know. Like, you don't want to take your blanks out of the mold, then shove them in the oven, because they're going to like melt. Not like melt, but when you heat up the resin to like 180 degrees, it softens first. And so you want to keep it in the mold so that the structure remains the same. throw the whole mold in there, 180 degrees for some amount of hours. I'm not sure. You know, contact Alumilite or whatever your resin manufacturer is to ask about post-cure schedules for that resin. But in that case, you're increasing the temperature quite a bit, and it will get it to that fully cured state faster. All right. So if you have a lot of resin, also, if you pour a big 5-gallon bucket of resin, it ain't going to take 5 days for it to fully cure. It's going to be a little bit faster because it's generated a little bit more heat. Now, on the opposite end, if you're doing something like label blanks, where you know you're only pouring, you know, if you're doing these types of things where you're talking like 20 grams of resin per thing, it's going to take significantly longer. And in that case, you definitely want to post cure if you can. Just to speed up that process. Otherwise, it could take, you know, a week longer, a week and a half maybe, to get to that fully cured state. So it all just kind of depends. You got heat, you got the amount, and all these different factors work together. So in general, like I said, Alumilite Clear Slow, 5 days, full cure. When you're talking about epoxies, a lot of those are like a 7-day cure. Like Amazing Clear Cast, I'm pretty sure is like 7 days. Liquid diamonds. And the way epoxies work, they aren't that exponential curve. They just, it's like an even distribution. So after, you know, half, you know, if it's a 7 days cure, 3.5 days in, it's halfway to the full cure point. And it just keeps going at a standard rate. So that's why, you know, especially with epoxies, you'll definitely want to wait a few days before you turn those, because they're going to be pretty soft for the first few days. Urethanes are a little bit better, where they harden up kind of quick and then they kind of taper off to get to that full cure. So if you wait a couple days, you're almost there. So pretty cool, pretty cool. Let's see here. Do you have to stabilize? No, you don't have to stabilize it. Just dry it out fully. So the question was, do you have to stabilize real gator jaw? I did a dye stabilizing on this pen. Obviously, it's not white. They typically are white. I don't know that it really does anything. It's already a hard material. There's no, you know, typically you need to stabilize things that are like soft or punky that aren't going to really be able to be turned. So in other cases, you may want to do it to avoid like moisture absorption, but I don't really think that there's any reason to stabilize. It's going to take a lot longer, typically, I think, to do bone. You can. There may be some benefits. It may be a little bit, I don't know. I wouldn't do it probably. Just dry it out fully. So, cool. I don't think I see any other questions. Let's head over to the lathe. Let's do, oh, that's the wrong camera. That's the right camera. There we go. So, like I said, we're making a cigar pen. I like cigar pens. They're fun. And I've marked my blank. Now, the beauty of cigar pens is you can realign. You know, the main thing is we need to make sure that these things are lined up the right, you know, we got the bushings in the right spot. So, you know, we've got that accomplished. But when you're assembling a cigar pen, you know, you can just take it apart and put it back together to get the two pieces to line up. When you're doing something like a junior, you know, you got to press the parts in, and that cap is going to sit at a certain point. And so if you didn't do it when you actually assembled the pen correctly, if you didn't get them lined up, you're going to have to disassemble the, like pull the parts apart, which is not particularly fun. Cigars that's another advantage to cigar pens. I really like cigars. They got a lot of good things. They look good. They're relatively cheap. They've got a ton of different options available with the different platings. And, you know, the assembly and everything is simple and easy. So it's one of my favorites to turn, because I think you can, you know, without really, I think to most people that are buying a pen, if you don't want to deal with a two-piece, and, you know, you don't necessarily want to, you know, the rollerball style, if you're cool with a ballpoint, I think the cigar, you know, it can make a really fancy looking pen. And so I think for the standard typical person, it's a pretty good option, I think, as a choice for a pen. If you're looking for something kind of fancy looking, it really does a pretty good job. All right, so we got that going. We got my glasses on. Gotta knock them. I haven't turned a square blank in a long time, actually. It's been a while. So David was asking another question about cactus juice. Yeah, no, that stuff does not mix with. You got to clean that stuff off. It's just a brittle, nasty material. And that's another reason why, like, sometimes it's just not really worth the hassle stabilizing certain materials. Starting to creep out at us, the gator looking stuff. Now, one issue that you might run into, there's a little bit of a hole there. So there's some holes and different random stuff in these things, and sometimes maybe the resin didn't get in there. So in that case, you might have to do a little bit of filling. I'm hoping that we can maybe get that taken out before, but I might have a little bit of a hole to fill. I think I'm gonna have to fill that guy. So let's turn the dust collector off. I'm just gonna fill it now. I'm gonna mix up a little bit of CA glue in a cup. And in this case, I might try to add a little bit of that pigment to it. I can either, well, I think I might actually do, wish that wasn't so round. I was gonna say it might be a little easier to do like white. And this hole is actually big enough that I would almost rather fill it with epoxy, possibly, or maybe even like a UV resin, but you can't really add pigment to a UV resin. So I think what I'm gonna do here, it's kind of a bummer that this one, although I'm kind of glad that I got this one rather than someone else. This shouldn't be a problem with most of these blanks, but like I said, there could be a couple little spots where there's, you know, a little bit of an issue. So let's just go with the Conch Aqua. We'll try and add a little bit of that to the mix. Like I said, I think realistically epoxy would be a better way to go, but the problem is I can't get that done. Like I would want to wait for that to cure like overnight. So we're just going to try to see what we can do here. Another way to go, the tough thing is it's kind of hard to mix this into CA glue, but I can mix some mica powder. So let's add a little bit of an accent. I'm going to go with a little bit of mica powder I'm going to just go with Snow White. And it may kind of stick out, but we can call it a feature in the end. It's a feature, costs more. So here's what we're going to do. We're going to put a little bit of mica powder in there. I'm going to kind of make a little bit of a mess probably. This. And then what I'm going to do is we're just going to kind of douse this with some, and this is the medium thick from Starbond. In fact, I could actually go with the super thin first. I don't know, let's make sure that you guys can kind of see what's going on here with this. Kind of fun when things like this pop up, because if you don't really know how to deal with it, this could be kind of helpful. Fortunately, I can't see the video. I do the iPhone upgrade program, and I just upgraded it, and most things are seamless. Like, you just get the new one, it just copies everything over, but the YouTube app logged me out, and I don't know what's going on. All right, so I'm just going to let that kind of think about what it's done. The super thin CA glue should kind of dip down into that CA, or into that mica powder, into the hole. That's kind of the hope. I don't do a lot of this kind of thing. So we'll have to kind of see how this goes, I guess, but it should be okay. And I'm going to actually do a little tap tap. Add a little bit more there. Little tap tap. And the super fast thin, that stuff sets up pretty fast. I like that from Starbond. Starbond's a pretty good, they got some pretty good CA glues. So if you're looking for, and I like their CAs for more for utility purposes. Like the super fast thin is indispensable. Like that's the stuff that's going to kind of stabilize problems with your blanks. You know, you can kind of use it to actually, I don't know, if you got punky wood parts or something like that, or you need something to kind of fill deep down in, the super fast thin is the thing that I pull out all the time. The other one that I use a lot is their gap filler thick. I use that. Sometimes I use this medium thick. It's a little bit, it's like a thinner viscosity and it sets up faster than the thick one. So it can, and you could use it even probably for finishing. Typically I use the Mercury thin and medium flex for finishing. It's got a pretty good look. It's very clear and everything. I think Starbond's got some good ones as well, but I'm just used to that other one. So let's see, here's this stuff. That's still kind of liquidy. I'm going to hit it with some, this is the accelerator. Uh-oh, I lost my feed here. Let's see here. Oh, cool. You can get in on the action for the streams already. Nice. Okay, so I think we've done a decent job of getting that kind of backfilled with the white. So now what I'm going to do is actually pull out some of this medium thick. Which, like I said, it's just a little bit thicker. And I don't want to put a lot on. I'm going to put a small amount, and then I'm going to hit it with the accelerator. And we're just going to build it up. And I actually want it to be above the surface so that I have something to turn away. And once you hit it with the accelerator once, it usually kind of goes pretty quick also. Oh, that didn't sound good. Okay, I think we're getting it to the point where it's above the surface level. I got to get some... Well, I went to the optometrist the other day because I can't see, but it's my family hates me. I'm like the only one in my immediate family that like that can see, and I always had good vision. And I go to the optometrist, and I'm you know, the close-up stuff is hard right now. Otherwise, I can see pretty good, but he's like, yeah, you still have 20/20 vision. My family was so mad at me. Okay, so now I got a bump on the top, and we might have to do a little bit of patchwork here and there because I kind of quickly did this. Sometimes when you're layering quick like this, you might need to go back and do a little bit more work after you turn it back. And really, you know, the best way to go is to really let this sit for, you know, a while. Give it like half an hour to kind of really cure up. It's, if you need, you know, obviously we're kind of a little bit in a pinch. We're not going to sit here for 30 minutes waiting for CA glue to dry on the stream. But if you're in a pinch and you need to get it done, you can, you know, turn it. But the best results are going to come if you just let this stuff cure a little bit more. So let's see, why does my phone keep turning off? All right. So I think, let's turn the lathe back on. I'm gonna be kind of careful also, like I'm not gonna just go in there and try and take it all off. I'm gonna try to kind of take little bits at a time. What is that? Is that where it is? Oh, we got a big chunk on the bottom. Alright, so let's stop it and see what this looks like now. So it's got a little dot of white in there. Like I said, we'll just call it a feature. Zoom out a little bit, how about that? I'm going to scoot you guys back because you're kind of right in my way. There we go. It kind of tore it out a little bit. I was hoping to only have to do that once, but let me get my other glasses here, so let's see what's going on. You know, you could just fill it with, yeah, I pretty much ripped all that out. One of the problems was that hole, I feel like I'm screaming at you guys. Let's turn the dust collection on. One of the problems was that the bottom of that little hole was pretty smooth. And so I don't think that it had a whole lot to grab onto either. Let me see if I can, trying to think what I could scrape that with. I got a little scraper thing. I'm gonna kind of rough it up on the bottom. We're gonna have to redo that whole thing, but all right, so let's try that again. All right, so this time I'm gonna actually put a little bit of CA in first and then drip some mica powder over it. Kind of try to push it in there. Let's try a different tact. I'll get you guys a little bit closer this time again. Phone keeps turning off. Why does it keep doing that? I guess because there's no video playing. Why is there no video? It's ridiculous. All right, now there's video, so hopefully my phone will stay on. Bottle just doesn't want to squeeze. All right, so I've kind of painted on some CA on the bottom there. And then that was not a good idea. This is a medium thick. Let's go back to the thin. Oh. Oh, the dust collector sucked it all up. Let's scoot that back just a little bit. Kind of making a general mess here, but it'll be all right once we turn it down. a couple more drops. I'm just using the thin here. All right, I think that might be good. Let's see if we can get this to stick on there. Like I said, you'll get better results if you let it, you know, cure longer and all that kind of stuff too. I'm just going to take a little bit of sandpaper first this time. Just kind of see. I think it's gonna be, I think it'll be okay this time. Let's try it out. All right, let's see what we got. That's looking good. And we got a little dot of white. That's cool though. And this is actually, we can cover that with the clip if we wanted to also, because this is the back side. Okay. I think we're ready for sanding time. No, I gotta do a little bit more work here. Okay, that's probably plenty good now. Oh, look at that. I got rid of it. Ah, I didn't even need to do all that extra work. That's what I was hoping the first time, but it seemed like it was deeper than I could get by just taking off material. Obviously, I was wrong. In a good way. All right, so let's see here. Jennifer's here. How's it going? Okay, so now all we got to do is sand and polish this guy. That's, you know, like I said, that's one of the advantages to not using real gator jaw. For that stuff, you would want to seal it, you know, with a top coat finish of some sort. I tried, technically you could just try to polish it. And I actually did that on that other pen that I showed you, the one that, the example pen that has real gator jaw on it. And the problem was it just, I didn't like it. The surface, you know, like looked different. That's one of the issues is, you know, a lot of times you don't necessarily have to put a CA finish on certain things. Now, like for things like pine cones, especially if they haven't been stabilized, something like that, moisture could cause issues down the road for you. And actually, you know what happened? Now I remember. I ended up going back and putting a CA finish on that gator jaw pen because it actually separated, the gator jaw kind of separated a little bit from the resin. And I think it had to do with moisture, where it kind of shrunk and it moved basically a little bit, but the resin didn't. You know, resin isn't affected by moisture. And so I ended up, you could kind of feel like a little bit of a crack developing. And so I had to go back and actually put a finish on. Now with this, you don't have to do anything. It's good to go. So, you know, there's advantages to doing the faux things, even though you don't get the novelty of it. It's not real gator jawbone, but the novelty wears off fast too, though. So, all right, so we got our sandpapers. I'm gonna put some gloves on. I like to put gloves on when I'm doing this. Water just cracks my skin. So what's everybody else working on in your shop? Let's zoom out a little bit. How about that? Oh, I'm doing pretty good. We're supposed to have, I don't know, they've been talking about some atmospheric river event coming. The power company's like, we're ready for it, and all this. I'm getting emails from people, and so far, I don't know. I don't think the river's crossing our path. I mean, it rained, you know, okay. Like a little bit. It wasn't even like, it was a very light mist yesterday and today. I know when it's raining hard because there's like a drain pipe from the roof. I don't know why it comes into my shop area. It doesn't seem to make a whole lot of sense to me, but there's a pipe. Actually, I think it does eject back out. So they cut a hole in the roof, put a pipe inside the building, and then put it back out in the wall. I don't know. I'm not a, you know, I'm not a builder, but that doesn't seem like the most efficient way to deal with rain runoff on the roof. But when it's raining heavy, I can hear that thing draining. And there's no heavy draining going on. Okay. Just do a little wipey. I'll start back over with the green. Like I said, I'm really hoping that micro starlight. Now, the thing is, so we put micro starlight glitter in with the, the pigment. It's the Conch Aqua, Divine Pigments Conch Aqua, aqua color. And I added a little bit of that glitter in there. So it should, bare minimum, there should be, once we get this polished, a little bit of a flicker, a glitter twinkle going on. But you can adjust that. So, I know that you can get, you can combine those two and get them both to work. The question is, how much pigment do you put in? So like how much, pigment is in the resin, and then how much glitter did you put in? So that's something I don't have a whole lot of experience with, but if it doesn't show up that much, then like next time I would put less pigment. And each pigment may be different, especially when you're dealing with these, the liquid pigment things, the opaque ones. Some of them are more opaque than others. This one is on the opaque side. I didn't paint the tubes or any of that stuff because I know it's totally opaque. Some of the other colors can be a little bit more on the transparent side depending on how much you put in. And you would get a little bit more of that kind of light refraction off the glitter. Okay, and get us some gray going on here. You're cleaning the shop for next week? Oh, that's fun. I actually need to clean mine up. It's kind of, I don't really care that it's not like clean, or whatever, but the problem is between like 3D printing, I've gotten into this pigment stuff, and I just have all these areas that are just completely covered. Like I can't, if I needed to do something else on every work surface, like they're all covered, and it just, I need to clean up my act out here. Like somebody wanted to order a bunch of blanks that have the 3D prints in them, and I'm like, I don't have those 3D prints, and I can't even, and I had to break everything down from the 3D printers to do something else. So they're all kind of tucked away, and I'm like, I'm not setting that up. I just can't do it right now. Too many things going on. Too much going on. Too many surfaces covered. I really want to get set up like a dedicated 3D printing station thing, because the problem is that resin printing is kind of a pain. Like you got to have somewhere to clean the prints off and do all that stuff. The printing itself is not that big of a deal, but if you got to change the resin out with the vat, there's just a lot more going on than just the filament printers. All right, that's probably polish that to death. Do a little bit of that way, and it's looking good. I like that. I really like the Conch Aqua. That's one of my favorite Divine Pigments colors. Got it wiped off. My hands dry, and we'll bust out the magic juice polish, guys. Woo! Magical. And for anybody that's doesn't know or is interested, this this thing's called a Lathe Buddy. It's a third gen pen shop, and so amusing. They're making them. I've got a link to where you can look into those. They got a Facebook page that you have to contact them through. But so far it's been pretty good. It's backed. It's like a terry cloth, but so it's just basically a towel. But it's also backed with a waterproof substrate. So it makes it pretty good. You don't get junk all over, water on your lathe bed, which is pretty good. And they also have magnets, kind of help keep it in place. Not too bad. And they got a bunch of different sizes, like 4 different sizes. This is called I think the Lathe Buddy. And they've got like a mini buddy or something like that. That's probably about half this size. They got a giant one that you can like cover your like work desk, you know, like a workbench. And they got a little round one that you can just, and they were saying that people, you know, if you're at your grinder, a lot of times people have like a little bucket of water to quench or cool things down. And a lot of people put like that water cup on there. So that's pretty cool. I like little innovations like that. And I like the magnets because I basically just hang it on the lathe. Unless I'm doing something super, super messy. But I mean, you can just kind of dry it off, you know. Or not dry it off, but like kind of shake it out if you get little chips or something on there. All right, so step 1, done. Let's move on to step 2. Step 3, coming up. It's getting glossy, I can already see it. Step 4. Oh, you just got a lathe buddy, nice. They're pretty cool. And they got a bunch of different colors too, just to let you guys know. I went with the Resinworks Studio colors, of course. We got all kinds of different ones. Okay, and final step. We'll take a peek at this guy. Okay, there we have it. I'll bring the camera, oh, that is shiny. Bring the camera around here. I think I'm just gonna take it off and show you guys. I can get the kind of reflection glare thing out of the way if I hold it vertically. I'm just gonna wipe off, I like to wipe off the ends, make sure there's no magic juice in there. I can't see. Can't tell if it's focused or not. There we go. See, you can see the little micro starlights. It's subtle, you know, a little bit subtle. Well, actually, I mean, it pops out at you in person. You can see it. But I really like, so we got the beginnings of the gator jaw forming on the top. And again, this is going to be where the clip goes. We don't need to cover up that hole anymore because I got rid of that. Would have been right there. So that's nice. All right, so let's head over to the second piece. Get this thing going here. Let me scoot you guys back. Get the camera reset here. Get the magic juice out of here too. Okay. I think I'm just going to leave the gloves on so I don't have to waste a pair. Get the lathe buddy out of the way. Like I said, I just use those magnets and just lock it onto my lathe, which is kind of handy. Okay. Oh, good. I couldn't tell, you know, like, I'm looking at my, the little viewfinder thing on my camera, and I was like, I don't know if it's coming through or not. So it's kind of nice, you know, obviously you're not getting a pearl color. It's not like it's like mica powder, but, you know, just because you're using a pigment, a liquid pigment like a dye, doesn't mean you can't get a little bit of bling going on. You know, you can use something like micro starlight. You could even add some mica powder to it and get a little bit of pearl with that same color. The problem is you got to kind of vary things, like I said, depending on how much mica, how much pigment and all that stuff. You might have to play with things to kind of nail, you know, the exact look that you're going for. But you don't have to just settle for like a solid color. But you can also have that too. So it's pretty cool, you know, mixing and matching all these different things. Get a lot of options. Yeah, the diamond dust. Yeah, it can kind of give you that similar, you know, there's like the diamond blanks or whatever. You can kind of get the same look using the micro starlight. All right, so I'm just taking a peek at this to see. It doesn't look like there's, like I said, I was actually really surprised that there was that pretty large pinhole thing. I don't know if maybe there's like a little bit of a hole in the gator jaw or something like that. I don't remember that, but we don't have any flaws that are showing up on this one, so I don't have to mess with that. Which is quite nice. darn ads going on my phone. I pay for the the professional, what is it called? Whatever, the expensive YouTube. So I don't have ads, but I couldn't log in. It wasn't working. All right, so let's see here. Do we have any other questions? Nope. Nope, nope, nope. All right, so this thing is looking pretty good. I'm digging it. Looks like I got a little bit of work to do. There's a little bit of a bump kind of thing. It's bulbous on that end, a little tiny bit to take off there. Just kind of feather that down. So thought I was done, but we're going to turn the dust collector back on real quick here. Okay, I think that hopefully should be good. It's good. Okay, so let's do a little bit of sanding now. All right. What I just, for pens, if it's a kit pen, whatever the fastest speed your lathe will go is what I recommend. Not for sanding, but for turning, yeah, because it's such a thin diameter, you're going to get kind of the best cut. You know, there's more revolutions, so you know, you'll get kind of a little bit of a smoother cut. Now, that's not to say that you should turn as fast as possible for every situation, but for pens like this, typically, you know, however fast your lathe will go is what I would probably turn at. And then for sanding, you know, somewhere between 500 and 1,000, as long as it's, you know, wet sanding. If you're dry sanding, I would probably turn the speed down somewhere between like 300 and 600, and always clearing the, you know, the debris off. But, you know, for plastics, you're really best just pulling some sort of a, you know, water or something like that out, just to keep the paper clear. It can clog up so much faster than wood, even, because there's, you know, they call it solid surface, right? So wood is not a solid surface. It's just a bunch of fibers, and realistically there's like, you know, a bunch of air in there. I don't know how much, it depends on how dense the wood is, but, you know, some of these wood species are pretty, you know, the amount of material compared to a piece of plastic is, you know, maybe like 2/3 material and 1/3 air, possibly. I don't know what the numbers are, but it's not solid. And so, you know, wood doesn't clog up your sandpaper, you know, anywhere near as fast as plastics. I think that should be good. Bit of light. Lengthwise sanding, or whatever you want to call this. Cross sand. I like to pull off. These are different sandpapers, and I don't know for sure. It'd be nice to talk to somebody at Zona or 3M. to figure out how this abrasive actually works. But most abrasives, the way they work is little particles kind of break off. So I like to clean off the between 600 and the Zona paper. I mean, I would imagine that you still have little particles of abrasive that are breaking off and exposing fresh edges on this polishing paper, but I'm not 100% certain how it works. So I don't really worry about like cleaning off the surface between green and gray, but I do kind of like to switch between the silicon carbide paper and the Zona. And the jury's still out for me on like having a different bucket of water for every abrasive. I don't do it, obviously. I just, But it could help if you're getting, you know, if you notice that you still have like deeper scratches than you think you should at the end of, you know, polishing and everything. Maybe give it a try to have like a different bucket of water, and just because I don't know if there's any kind of cross-contamination going on between those particles, you know. I kind of doubt it, really, but I don't know. I think you're better off, and this is also something I don't do a whole lot of, but I think you're also better off, bare minimum, trying to clean out, you know, change your water like regularly, depending on, you know, maybe every 5 pens or something like that. Go get a new fresh bucket. That would be a good way to go, I think. I would do that if like I had a sink in this part of my, you know, the shop, but I just forget to bring it up to the front. Not that it's that far, but like, really. Okay, and then we'll do some gray. So who's all going to the open house event next weekend at Turner's Warehouse? Is anybody going to make it out that's in the chat? I know Myra's going. Chad's going, sweet. I'll see you there, man. Yeah, Kim's not making it. Bruce is going, cool. Where are you at, Homer Lex? Are you in Tucson? Okay, that's good. Don't need to polish it to death. Polish it to life. That's what I need to do. All right, and then we'll dry this guy off. You're taking the class on Monday. Did you get that 1 o'clock one? Oh, you're in Connecticut? I thought you were in I thought you were in Arizona. Why did I think that? What is going on? The world's upside down. Did you go to the event last year, though? Maybe that's... Yeah, a little far for you, Barb, too. I'll tell you what, though. I wouldn't mind... I've been to Australia once. I would not mind going back there. Australia was awesome. You are in Australia, right? I think you are. We went to New Zealand too. That was beautiful too. We went to the east, the northeast coast. I really wish I could have gone more places, but the travel agent, this was back when there was travel agents, it's been a while. I was like, oh, I want to go to Sydney and I want to go to Uluru, and I want she's like, yeah, that's not going to happen even if you stay there for a month. So we decided, instead of like ending up like being on a plane or driving, like the whole trip, just to kind of stay, we just stayed in one place and went to the Barrier Reef. That was amazing. But I'd love to see more of it. Everybody was so nice there too. It was great. Okay, so let's do a little bit of polishing here. Bust out the magic juice. Juice is loose. Oh, you're in Canada. Man, I'm messed up. I don't know what's going on. Why did I think you were in Australia? Maybe, you know what's funny? I met a girl named Barb on the plane ride back from Australia. That's probably why I'm thinking that. That was funny. Drugs are bad, okay? Okay, so let's get the eyeglass. Shoot, I gotta get my. I don't want to get magic juice flung in my eye. Get my glasses back on. Turn up the speed. Let's do it. I'll tell you what though, I wouldn't mind going to Manitoba, Canada too. Have been to Canada a couple times. It was awesome. We actually went to the Calgary Olympics. So that was pretty awesome. And let's see what else. Vancouver. And Mike, I have been to is it Vancouver Island? Am I saying the right things? Vancouver? Vancouver Island? I'm all messed up today. I don't know. I don't know my geography or where anybody is anymore. Where else have I been? Did we do anything else in Canada? Gretchen went to Montreal. Eventually we're going to have to go to Toronto because we're trying to go to every Major League Baseball park. So we're definitely going back at some point to Toronto. You got a snowstorm. Yeah, supposedly there's some storm happening right now here, but oh, Northwest Arizona. I knew David was in Arizona. There's quite a few people. I think Mark's in Tucson. Oh, that's cool. Yeah, it was cool. Calgary was really nice. We liked it up there. I was pretty young, but I really enjoyed it. Cold, but not that much more cold than where I'm from, really. I really liked Calgary, that area. That was pretty cool. All right, so let's see here. I don't know which one. What number am I on? 1, 2. I must be on 4, I guess. I don't know. I feel like I missed 3, so I'm gonna redo this. I think I already did this, but they keep threatening you with snow. Yeah, Mark's in Tucson. I knew that. Okay, at least I know where some. And I know Kim lives in the UK. You're in England, right? Pretty sure England. Pretty sure Chad lives in Arizona somewhere. I don't have to worry about it, but I might have to worry about snow leaving. Supposedly this atmospheric river event. And I don't mean to totally joke about that, because we've had a few of those. Like the last time we had an atmospheric river thing, like it didn't stop. Well, part of the problem was it was like we had an atmospheric river the entire winter. So, but a lot of times, I mean, it dumps 10 feet of snow in like a week. So, you know, they're no joke when they actually do hit. But so far, I don't know. I haven't seen it. I don't know if stuff is going crazy up in the mountains or what, but there's absolutely nothing happening in the valleys. At least here so far. I don't know. I don't really keep an eye on weather. I keep my eyes on weather when I can snowboard. Then I'm like, what's happening every minute? But I finally just gave in after the trip to, you know, we had a trip to Heavenly, and I ended up not going. Couldn't really go. I finally just decided to opt for the insurance program that they make you pay for on the ski pass, and get my money back and just say I'm not going this year. It's probably smarter. It's not happier in any way, but I just don't. I think I'd rather just wait until like next winter. There should be no question. Like, as long as if I'm able to snowboard ever again, you know, I'll be ready next year for sure. There's not going to be any questions. This year, I think I could do it, but it's a little questionable. Little questionable. I was kind of pushing it a little bit. Trying to go when we stayed up there in January. It would have been a little dicey. And with terrible conditions on top of everything else, I was like, yeah, no. It's not even going to be that fun anyway, so there's no reason for me to possibly get hurt. So far though, like lately the knee's been doing really good. So that is good news. Just keep making progress, getting stronger. Much less like problems. Because I was having a lot of kind of problems for a while there. Man, so this is going to be pretty sweet. I like the color combo. That blue-green, or blue, aqua, and white is a good mixture. Definitely like that. So let's put it together. Let's see what we got. I don't even know. And like I said, I decided to go with the blue, the blue cigar kit. I think it's called Blue Galaxy or Galaxy Blue or something. I got the baggie over there. And I've got this kit linked in the description. But they have a ton of, you know, I told you, cigar kits are awesome. Actually, if you want a really, really nice cigar kit, oh shoot, what's it called? The Ultimate Cigar or whatever. What is it called? I gotta look it up. I really, really liked the, whatever that special cigar kit was. Hold on a minute, let me look up the name. I was kind of like, oh, this seems kind of hypey, you know, oh, the Ultimate, whatever. Yeah, Cigar Ultimate pen kit. I was like, is it really the ultimate cigar pen kit? And I will confirm, it is pretty ultimate. It was different. Like it was. I really liked the additional, like the different plating things. There's like I don't have any of these kits. But head over to Turner's Warehouse and check it out. What the heck's going on here? Hold on a minute. Oh, good. Okay, hold on a minute. I gotta get a link for you guys. So yeah, check this kit out. It's pretty cool. Oh, the elements are awesome too. Yeah, I think the elements are the ultimate. But I really like the ultimate one. Those things are pretty sweet. I liked it's got like, you know, so like on the kit, let's get to the right camera here. It has like different little bumps and things on the thing. And so for like just a similar cigar kit, it's pretty cool. The elements are awesome, and I still need to get around to doing the what do you call that? Patina thing with one. I think it'll be really cool. And I really like the aluminum element because it's lighter, but on the other hand, I like the other ones as well. I think it's nice that you get, you know, you can have like a nice heavy, sometimes a solid heavy pen is kind of what I want, you know, like it feels good. And then sometimes like having a nice light one just depends on kind of the situation. Like if I need to write a lot of stuff, usually like give me, you know, a lighter pen. A lot of times it's kind of how I feel. But I like the solidness of the heavier pens. It just feels more like, yeah, that's a real pen. You know? Am I doing this right? Yeah. Whoa. Oh no, I got my glove stuck in there. Oh, whew. Watch out when you're wearing those gloves and you're assembling pens. All right, so let's see. Does this have a little ball on it? Yeah. That going. Put this guy in here. Oh, it works perfect. Okay. And this guy goes right there. Boom. All right, so let's see. This is how this is going to look. Thinking. Yeah, I don't like that. I think we're going to go like this. Do it just like that. That's pretty fancy looking, guys. I like this pen quite a bit. And so this is what I was talking about with the cigars. You know, I don't need to mark it and do all this other stuff and worry about where things line up. I just need to make sure before I've turned it that, you know, I've got the bushings in the right place to have this thing lined up properly when you put it together. But, you know, with a cigar, you just pull it apart. You know, if I mess it up, all it takes is just pulling the cap off and redoing it. So it's pretty nice. You can get everything lined up exactly perfect. But you got your gator jaw stuff going on the side there. Let's get on the camera. How about that? Pretty cool looking. I don't know. What do you guys think? I like the color combination. It's pretty cool. I think Gretchen might be stealing this one. This is pretty close to her business colors. It's a little bit more on the green side, but I think she might be like, I'll have that. Thanks. Try and get it. So that's where I decided to go with the clip. I was thinking about maybe putting it on the back here, where I'm at, but it wouldn't, it's not very awesome. I didn't like that so much. I like this. Like, you know, if you put it down, I like seeing all the rest of this stuff. And like I said, there's subtle with the micro starlight, but you know, when you're moving it around, it does twinkle here and there. And so I'm just going to give you guys I'm going to pull out the book for how much aqua. We put 4 grams in, 4 grams of pigment, you know, the conch aqua, into 500 grams of resin. I don't know. I probably could have put like half. I don't know for sure on that. You know, you'd have to do the little stir stick test thing, but just to kind of make sure that it's opaque enough. But I definitely think I probably could have put less. Definitely, probably. I'm a good talker. I think I could have put less of the pigment in, and you would have gotten more micro starlight, or more micro starlight in with that same amount of pigment. Now the other thing is, we poured this pretty fast, and so some of that micro starlight could have settled a little bit. So like, we didn't wait for it to hit some, you know, special temperature. We actually kind of poured it early because you kind of want it to fill into all these little holes and stuff. So thinner's better in that case. If you only have one color, there's no reason to sit and wait. However, we did put glitter in there, and it could have sunk a little bit to the bottom of the mold. So, you know, you got to kind of balance these things. I'd rather pour sooner than later on something like, you know, where the resin needs to kind of fill holes. If it's super thick, it's not going to want to flow into those little tooth holes on the jaws. So, you know, I tend to pour a little bit earlier. However, I poured it pretty much right away, I think. You know, you can give it a little bit, you know, get it up a little higher. And the thing with Alumilite Clear Slow is, and this is, again, one of those advantages that I really like about it. It's got a 12-minute working time, okay? So if you wait until it hits like, you know, 85 or 90 degrees Fahrenheit in my shop, which is, you know, 68 to 70 degrees right now, it's going to take some amount of minutes. You know, you're going to have to sit there and wait for it to get to 85 to 90. And it's probably going to be, if you got a 12-minute working time, and it may vary slightly here and there, but, you know, you're going to be waiting more than 5 minutes. Like, it's going to be, you know, you're at least halfway to the point where it's going to start like kind of hardening, like firming up, where it won't move anymore. And so compared to a lot of the epoxies, where, you know, you can get to a certain, the temperature to pour, but the thing is, you've got like, in some cases, hours before it really like hardens, like solidifies. And that's why you got to leave it in the pressure pot for like, you know, 8 hours or more. With this stuff, you know, when you start creeping up to like 10 minutes, like it's, you're getting pretty solid. Like it's going to be a matter of minutes. And so what I'm saying is, for like glitters and things, there's just not even enough time for it to really fully settle. If you just kind of wait till, it doesn't have to be like the perfect time where, you know, you're not going to get swirling and all that kind of stuff with pigments. But if you just kind of wait till 3/4 of the way through the working time, there's only like 4 minutes left anyway. So it's just not going to be able to have enough time to settle, where I would say with epoxies, it's much worse, because the glitters can still settle even after, for quite a long time after you've put it in the pressure pot. So I like Alumilite Clear Slow. It works really well. Yeah, make a gator jaw mold. Again, guys, it's not that hard. The way that I did it, I don't have any more of those gator jaw things, but what I took was, I took a little piece of dowel, like 1/4 inch dowel, and just kind of got it, you know, off the ground, you know, off the base of the mold box that I made it in. And I just used like the corrugated plastic or like the poster board stuff. And you just make a box and then pour your silicone around it. It's very simple. And then what you do is you just cut it open. And I would also recommend, you know, I guess I just I didn't really make a sprue. A sprue is where like the pour spout, if you add that to your master thing that you're trying to copy, I think all I did was I just cut a big hole. So you do want to have some area where you can pour a little extra resin on the top, because it may, you know, when you pressurize it or as it, you know, settles, it may, the volume may drop a little bit. So have a little extra little cup on the top and you're good to go. But it's not that hard. And one of the mold products that makes things really easy, Alumilite sells this, and it's a pretty awesome, it has limitations, but if you're just trying to do something fairly simple, this amazing mold maker stuff is pretty awesome. Like you really, you know, in this case, like I said, you don't need to make a perfect mold. It doesn't have to be fully, you know, degassed and all this. It doesn't have to be perfect. It doesn't really make any difference if there's some issues with the Gator jaw. You're gonna turn it. As long as the holes and all that stuff stay in it, you're fine, you know. Same kind of goes with the faux burl molds, but this stuff, you can pretty much just mix it up. It's very, I would say the drawback to this is it's only got like a 6 to 8 minute working time. So you do have to be a little bit quick, but it mixes super fast. And then you just dump it in the box and just let it sit there. And it does a pretty good job of getting air bubbles and stuff out. So it's not gonna be perfect. You know, to make a perfect, or, you know, the best mold on the planet, the way that I do it, I'm using a different silicone, and it's not a secret. I use Plat 25 or Plat 10 from Alumilite. I like those the best. They're not super thick and disgusting to sit there and churn with a stir stick. You can do it with just a stick, and it works great. It's got a good working time. It's transparent, all that stuff. But what I do is I first mix it up, which introduces air bubbles. Then I put it in a vacuum chamber to suck all the air bubbles out that I can get out through that for like, you know, 10 or 15 minutes. Then after that, I pour it into my mold box. So in the mixing cup you just leave it in the mixing cup and then put it in your degassing, you know, the vacuum chamber. And like I said, that's actually pulling air bubbles out. It's expanding them and popping them. So you're trying to get as much of the air that you mixed into it out first. Then after that, after I poured it into the mold box, then I actually pressurize it, because, and you don't have to do this. If you're making a mold that you're not gonna pressurize, like you're not gonna use it under pressure, then don't pressurize it. You don't wanna do that. But if you are definitely going to be pressurizing it pretty much every time you use it, then you're gonna, I think it's better to pressurize it, because it'll be in the environment that it would be in use, right? And the way that these things work, the reason I'm doing that is because if there are some air bubbles that got trapped in the, you know, while you're making the more, you know, pouring into the mold, and it somehow cures with air, you know, a few air bubbles in it, what happens is if you put it in the pressure pot, and you're gonna have to leave it in, you know, for however long it takes to cure, but if you put it in the pressure pot, then it's collapsed all the air bubbles, if there are any left. They would be collapsed, and the object would be under pressure. The mold would be normal. When you release the pressure, the air bubbles could grow back, and that could kind of deform your mold. So on the flip side, if you don't pressurize it as it's curing and there are air bubbles, then there's this air bubble in the silicone, right? And when you pressurize it, it collapses, or they collapse, and it'll kind of deform your mold a little bit. This is getting really nitpicky, and most of the time if you just vacuum degas your silicone, you're fine. But if you want like the perfect mold, then I would actually just do both. That way you're good to go. Use that for the bottle plugs. Yeah, I know the mold maker stuff. It's good. And I mean, it's even FDA approved. Like you can even make like chocolate molds and things like that for this stuff, as far as I understand. Look into that before. Don't take my word on it. Read the FDA statement and all that kind of stuff. But it's a pretty good product, the Amazing Mold Maker. I like Plat as well, but I always keep the mold maker on hand if I just need to make, you know. I'm pretty sure this was made with Mold Maker, okay? If I just need to make a quick mold, then I just pull out the mold maker. I'm not gonna vacuum degas and do all this other stuff. I just, make a mold, and it's not a big deal. if I'm doing, you know, for the things that I'm, you know, the pen blank molds and the faux burl molds and all that stuff, I'm going to pull out the, you know, the better stuff for this. Mainly the thing is, the silicone itself is not better or worse. The thing is that having the longer working time with the Plat 25 or Plat 10 allows me to suck the air out and you know, air bubbles and all that stuff. So the quality is good either way. I mean, the first pen blank molds that I made, actually, I'm pretty sure, I don't know if all of these are, because I did start adding some red dye to the silicone at first, but at least one or two of these things that I use all the time are made with Mold Maker. The problem was you really got to whip it kind of quick, and like I said, you can't get the air bubbles out, but for me to just do some testing, that's what I pulled out. It worked great. So anyway, yeah, the blue kit, I'm digging the blue kit. Yeah, I like the metal too, metallic look. So let's see here. Things you never want to hear a doctor say, oh, I got my, that's funny. Oh man. See here. I was just cruising up looking at the chat here. I was blah, blah, blahing. Yeah, Mike, you need to make a Gator jaw mold. I'm telling you, like I said, it's pretty easy. Just and you can find that Gator jaw material online. There's a few places if you just Google it. Let's see here. Okay, cool. Well, I think that's about it. Oh man, Doug's in the house from Pole Barn. What's up, man? Cool. All right, so I don't think there's any other big questions. Very happy with how this turned out. It was a fun experiment. Like I said, for everybody that's in the Pen Blank Club, you'll be getting, you know, one of these guys. Made a couple extras, so we'll just have to see if there are a couple extras. I might throw them up in the. I always try to make a couple extras just in case something weird happens, you know, basically, with the Pen Blank Club. But so like I said, we got white, purple, and it's just luck of the draw. I don't, it's totally random. I fill all the boxes and then just grab random boxes when I'm doing the shipping. We got a blue, and the blue ones are one that we did on the stream. And then we got more of these with different colored Gator jaws in them. So I think it's going to be a pretty good, you know, batch of different blanks for this thing. And then for the Pen Blank Club, the other blank this month is they're the kitless length with the Starlight glitter, where we did transparent stuff. So if you're not going to turn a bespoke pen with that, I would recommend going for maybe like a diamond painting pen, because there's going to be super transparency through these things. Or if you're going to make a kit pen, then you know you'll definitely want to paint the inside of the actual blank itself, not the tube, to cover up. Because when it's super transparent like that, it just, unless you paint the inside of the blank, it doesn't look that great. So you see the glue splotches, and it's not fun. So anyway. So, for everybody that's going to be down in Phoenix, I'll see you guys next weekend. I'm going to be getting there. Like I said, we're going to kick things off on Friday, Saturday, and then for the one-on-one classes, I'm looking forward to those on Monday. Should be pretty awesome. For everybody else, hopefully you guys will be watching the Turner's TV channel, so you can see the demos live through the live stream on their YouTube channel. So hopefully we'll kind of tune in. We can you know, chat back and forth a little bit during the live stream. It should be pretty fun. So obviously I'm not doing a live stream on my channel next week. So head over to Turner's TV YouTube channel, and you'll have a whole day worth of demos. It's pretty cool. And they already have them up and ready for like the time slots and everything on their channel. So make sure to go and subscribe to their channel. I'm going to go grab another link, Turner's TV. Copy that, and I'm just going to drop this in the chat. So again, for anybody that hasn't subscribed, you want to subscribe anyway and hit the notification bell so you get notified when they go live. But all the videos are up under the live tab for the demos next week, so you can kind of see when all the stuff is happening. So yeah, it's going to be fun. I'm looking forward to it. So anyway, guys, thanks for joining the fun today, and we'll see you guys next weekend over in Phoenix. I hope you have a great night, and I'll see you on the next stream.